Well, hello, fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, your internet escape from the craziness in the world. The Addicts Crew is back once again to bring you Simpsons news and Saturday smiles. I'm Alissa, your resident head addict, and my co-host is the one, the only, Super Safi.
Super Safi Smiling Saturday.
And you're not moving this Saturday, so it's a lot better. Uh, As promised, we are back this week with another show. We've officially recorded more shows in January than we have in all of 2020, which by default means 2021 is already a significantly better year. More addicts, more fun, right? So once again, I'm reminding you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, the giveaways are going to start. So don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win. And as always, for those not watching this directly on YouTube, I will put a link in the show notes below for the subscribe button. So now on with the show.
Subscribe.
Safi says subscribe. We're getting closer, guys. Every day we get a little bit closer. So I really want to start giving some stuff away. So subscribe. Now on with the show. Saf, we are back this week to wrap up the New Year, New You mini event. A week later, nearing the end. Any new thoughts?
I found like a consistency throughout. I feel I have the same opinion from last week. This is a solid mini event. It has a lot of things that you're looking for. Great storyline, great dialogue, great price track with no retreads, no tokens, full character. The premium was excellent too, and came with a little bonus octoparrot. That quest line's pretty funny too. With Mrs. Frank and Mr. Frank. So, overall, it's one of my favorite mini events. I'd say top 5 mini events of all time.
So, our initial reactions from last week, good. Show's over. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time. Yeah, no, I agree. I think our initial reactions that this was going to be a good, solid mini event. That hypothesis has come true. It was a good, solid mini event. Standard stuff, but it was, a little bit above where we typically see mini events. So I was happy with that. Speaking of quest lines, the main quest line for this had me rolling in the sense that, and we're recording this on Wednesday. You guys are going to watch this on Saturday. I think you guys probably will see the full dialogue before this goes live. I think I'm probably going to post that Friday, so you will have had a chance to read it if you missed it. But the full dialogue for the main quest line was hilarious. I mean, the premise of this event is based off of The Heartbroken Kid, which is about Bart going to fat camp. Saf, you can give a quick synopsis of that episode as one of your favorites.
Yeah, definitely. As Alissa pointed out, so in that episode, the snack company comes and puts a vending machine in schools, which starts to lead to obesity amongst children, especially Bart, who's just thrilled with a new vending machine. But then the family's trying to get Bart to lose weight. They try a couple different things and then eventually decide to send him to fat camp, where the chubby chaser and other techniques are used to try to help Bart and other obese Springfieldians try to lose weight. So it was a really Bart-centric episode. The other family was there as supporting characters, but the story revolved around Bart in the episode.
Yeah, so, and this quest line, like we always say, the best thing about this game, at least as of the last couple of years, have been the dialogue quest lines, because it's like a subset of the original episode. So it's like you kind of find out where else the writers might have gone. Like you're in the writer's room almost and coming and seeing other ideas they may have potentially had for this episode. And I really like that. So this whole entire event, the premise is, as we saw in the beginning, Homer eats too much food from the holidays, the back-to-back-to-back holidays, the trifecta of holidays, and needs to go to fat camp. He thinks he can get liposuction from Hibbert. Hibbert goes, no, you can't get third one. So he ends up going to fat camp. And this time, though, it's the adults in fat camp instead of the kids in fat camp. So it's Homer, Wiggum, Quimby, comic book guy, Fat Tony. And they all go to fat camp, and they all spend all their time trying to escape from fat camp. And it's hilarious. Some of my favorite quotes, Homer says, yoga is meant for moms to meet other moms and show off. I thought that one was great. And he also says that Lard Lad has a new donut. And he says, I want to go home because Lard Lad just released a new bacon donut sandwich. It's 2 bacon donuts and a bacon donut in the center. We have donuts like that here at Duck Donuts. And we've actually had partaked in those. We've got a maple donut with it's maple. It's a donut with maple frosting with bacon on top. And they actually make that into a breakfast sandwich too. You can get a maple donut with egg and any kind of breakfast meat you want, whether it's bacon or sausage, and that's your breakfast sandwich, and it's delicious. So that kind of reminded me of that. But then you see this point where they're all trying to leave, and they're all tired of doing the yoga and the wellness and all this nonsense, and the fat guys all kind of turn on Homer. They're like, Homer, maybe we should just do it. And Homer gives a really inspiring speech that gets them to want to leave, and they go, okay, that's great. Let's leave. What's the plan? And Homer's like, I don't have a plan. So it's typical Homer fashion. I just get everybody riled up. I don't have a plan. And then they decide to get into shape via a training montage, which was hilarious. I mean, just the dialogue for that was really funny. You know, I did 300 sit-ups and I haven't even broken a sweat. So that was pretty good. And then at the end, of course, they end up leaving, and Tabs Buckler goes, excellent work, men. I never wavered from my belief that you'd finally realize what it takes to get in great shape. You had to hate being here so much that you'd lose weight just to escape. And then they're just like, he's a genius. He's not a scammer. He's a genius. So it's pretty funny. I really enjoy the dialogue with this one.
What'd you think of the Surgeon Moe's dialogue?
Surgeon Moe's quest line I thought was really funny. First of all, who knew that Moe would end up being this brilliant surgeon? You know, like as long as there's no cue balls or a cell phone around, he's pretty good. I mean, he does the face swap on Fernando, and it's successful. I mean, nobody could tell who he is. I thought it was, I for sure didn't see that coming in the dialogue. I thought it would go bad, and it ended up being like the gangsters off of after Moe for screwing that up. But it was really funny, and then the whole like premise of the conjugal visits to go perform these surgeries, I thought it was hilarious. I mean, did you have any thoughts on that?
No, I agree. Like dialogue all around in this event was really good, and yeah, it was just a funny. Like you really want to take your time to sit back and read the dialogue, whereas like there were a couple of years in the middle where you could just tap through it, but like here, you really want to spend the extra 30 seconds to actually go read the dialogue, and that's been a trend that's been coming up with events lately. So I'm really thrilled about it. That trend's continuing in 2021.
And the funny thing is, in the Surgeon Moe quest line, his payout for everything was cigarettes and ramen. And he says, yeah, that works on the inside and the outside. And it's funny because here in New Jersey, cigarettes are a hot commodity because apparently if you smoke, you can get a COVID vaccine before teachers can get a COVID vaccine. So, you know, so apparently it is a hot commodity to be a smoker. Let's get into some good, bad, and ugly with this event. Do you have any high points of this event? You're good, so to speak.
I mean, for me, it was a lot of good. If I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be the dialogue. Yeah, that would be number one. And then number two would be the prize track. I felt that it was a great prize track that they've presented. They brought back a lot of returning content as well for new players who may have missed out on old stuff. So that was nice. And premium players too got a nice little bonus with the Octoparrot coming with Miss Frank, and that too provided a great storyline. So a lot of good in this one. But yeah, those would be some of my top goods.
It's like you read my mind, because it's like exactly what I was going to say. The dialogue, as always, I feel like a broken record when I say that, but the dialogue was so good for this event. And then after that, the prize track. For a mini event, compared to other mini events, you got a full character, you got a costume for Moe, who isn't a character that typically has a lot of costumes. I mean, he has some, but it's not like getting a costume for Homer or Bart. Like Moe only has a couple, so it's a pretty good costume to get. And then it has a really nice building with it and a couple of decorations. So the prize track was really good. And then my other good high point would be the premium combo. 2 characters, even if one is an NPC, 2 characters. And the best part is the 2 characters have a task together, a visual joint task, which I really like to see. And a really nice building for 150 donuts. So it was a good deal, I thought. I thought that was well worth the investment, even if Mrs. Frink isn't really like a top commodity or a high priority character in the game. I thought it was a nice combo for the donuts. Any bads? So these aren't the like super bad. This is like just they could have done this a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, the premium, I didn't see a huge correlation between the premium and freemium. I feel it was a bit of a stretch there bringing in Miss Frank with this mini event, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, there's no complaints about Miss Frank coming in, but yeah, if I had to pinpoint one thing, it'd be that connection there.
So my bads would be there's no visual task at the Chubby Chaser. And I think that's a total missed opportunity because Tab has a task there, but it's not visual. So I just think it's a total missed opportunity and will cause the Chubby Chaser to end up in a lot of people's inventory, which is a shame because whenever you get an item and you get it and you unlock it and it goes in your inventory, it feels like such a waste. And the other thing for me was the scammer and Z-Dog vending. That was a miss for me. I know it's from the episode. I get it. I understand. It's a big part of that episode, but it was meh. It's just another item for inventory for me. A vending machine in Springfield. It's like the squishy machine in Springfield. It doesn't fit in quite well, with the layout of Springfield. So that to me was a bad point. Any uglies? You're really bad.
Yeah, not with this mini event. So I'm pretty happy. It's always a win when you get away with nothing ugly. There were no glitches, no major issues, major complaints, and overall with the whole aspects of the mini event, the prize trap, the quest lines, the dialogue. Sure, you could argue like we did some minor bad, but nothing really ugly at all, in my opinion.
In true Safi fashion, he finds it hard to find really bad things. I had a couple uglies, but I always try to find something that's really bad. The task glitch wasn't fixed. That was a big ugly point for me because it's a sort. It doesn't impact me, like I don't care, but I feel bad for other players who it is, and they're stuck in their quest lines because they can't clear these things out because they've got these tasks that are just missing. And for me personally, and I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but the snow, I'm really over the snow. It's so hard to design. It's so hard to for me, even just writing posts, it's so hard to count how many squares something is and a size because I can't see it well enough. Like I know I'm not getting that old, but it's hard to see in that snow. So I'm just over the snow at this point. So that for me wasn't ugly. But that was it. I mean, it was a pretty solid event. Overall thoughts, what would you grade this?
Overall, I give it an A. Solid A. You?
I would give it an A minus. It is the first mini event of the year, but it has set the bar pretty high, and it has all the traditional makings of a good mini event. Like this is very similar to the county fair episode or update, where that was like the best mini event I think we've seen. And it also reminded me of All That Jazz, or All This Jazz, because it, you had a character, you had a building, you had a costume in the prize track. Like that's nice to see. And it certainly was not as bad as Blarg's Giving. One of the prizes was not a giant jelly can, so I thought that was good. So yeah, that's I think that's our wrap up of the event. I mean, it's a solid mini event. There's nothing different about it in the sense of gameplay or how you achieve the prizes, how you unlock the prizes. It's pretty standard, pretty simple, which is nice to see, but it was good. It had all the good makings of a really good mini event. So I like to see that. We're going to go back to kind of our roots at Addicts Live, back when we used to actually do this show live. And we're going to hear from the Addicts community. So a couple days ago, I put out a post asking for the readers of the community to give their opinions on the mini event. And let's see what they had to say. We got quite a few responses, which I'm always happy to see. I love when you guys engage in stuff like this. That's the whole reason why this show started. We wanted to have the community involved. It's just YouTube made it pretty hard for us to do a live show separated. So Kevin Jacobs said, It was fine, great dialogue, good prizes, easy to a fault, and no glitches for me. So the larger question is, with the event format so similar, does it make every event, mini and multi, blend together in a bad way? This goes with a pair of personal questions. Has my memory gotten worse, and have I been playing TSTO far too long? I think we're all there. It would be cool to see an event that was very difficult to achieve every prize, like 1 or 2 addicts only. Difficulty can be frustrating, but it has been so similar for so long that difficulty would be celebrated, not for missing prizes, but for being truly unique. What do you think about that? Would like a difficult event be a good thing?
Yes and no. I mean, from my point of view, and I'm sure from yours, yeah, we would like something a little bit more challenging. But from like the game's longevity point of view, they have to make the game somewhat accessible to even the newer players. That's why all these events have the same characters doing the same initial task. I mean, you need people who have, or at least up to level 15, can participate. If you start introducing players that are a bit more complex that came later in the game, some people who are new to the game may become frustrated and feel like, oh, there's no point. You can't even achieve anything in this game. I'm just going to just quit playing. So, and that would hurt the longevity of the game because they need people to keep coming in and coming back. So, yes, personally, I would want something a little bit more challenging for sure. But for the long-term wellness and health of the game, I understand that they need to keep it a little bit more simple and something that anyone who's just started and is barely at level 15 or just barely cracked level 15 can participate in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember we've been doing this long enough that I remember the days when it was hard to get all the prizes and people would complain that they couldn't unlock everything and it was too difficult. I don't hear those complaints anymore. I hear complaints the opposite direction, but I don't hear the I can't get everything, this is impossible to do complaints. So there is something to be said for that. We did have a couple of people that responded to Kevin's comments. I just want to read a couple of these. Essence said this is an interesting concept for the game to be made difficult. I would love for an event to be made difficult, but if EA does go for it, a lot of tappers will be really mad. It's not the phrasing that they use, but that's what I'm saying because this is a PG show. And then October 10 Aussie said, I think I came into TSTO with the early 2017 Secret Agents event. That was a fun from memory. Much like the Family Guy game, which I rarely play, I seem to have joined at a time when really big, interesting events were being phased out in favor of more cut and paste events. That's exactly what we're in, cut and paste events. That's a really good way to phrase it. We had craftables for a bit, but people didn't seem to like those. So now we just have several people with 4-hour tasks every month. We still have some cool prizes, but we still yearn for a proper Maud Flanders and still have things to hope for. Robert J. Powell adding to that conversation. So the difficulty level, I think, is about right. I well remember how mad I was for the first 60 levels or so when I didn't have the characters or donuts to complete everything. If it had been more difficult, I would have abandoned the game a long time ago. That being said, the complexity could be so much more engaging, like they did with the Stonecutters event, like spying on neighbors' towns and completing character tasks along with event tasks. But EA support and development for the game is now reported minimal, I guess. It's a little unrealistic to expect that level of development in what is still a free and advert-free game.
I mean, introducing challenges within wouldn't be too bad an idea. As far as the difficulty of obtaining items, like I harken back to Easter 2014, was it with the wheel?
Christmas 2013 and Easter 2014 with the boxes.
Boxes, yes, sorry. Yeah, so that Christmas 2013 and Easter 2014, that was frustration. So when you think of challenges in that regards, like we don't want that type of challenge where a few people get all the prizes.
I actually wrote a series of posts, and I'll put them in the show notes. I wrote a series of posts about how frustrating Easter 2014 was and my quest to get Father Sean, because that's all I wanted, Father Sean, and how difficult it was to get him.
With the pink path and the blue path, right?
Yep.
Oh,
it was
God.
so hard.
Yeah. They definitely need to steer clear of that because that is frustrating, not challenging. There's a difference between challenging and frustrating. And yeah.
Yeah, or just adjust the odds a little bit, make it a little bit easier. Similar concept, a little easier to obtain, but I honestly think those days are long gone. We've been longing for them. We've been telling them we want these things, and we're not going to see them. So, I mean, I've been asking for challenges like Stonecutters since Stonecutters ended 7 years ago, and we still haven't gotten them. So, I mean, I think it's just where we are. So going back to this particular mini event, Essence 1919 says, I feel like what I like about this event is that we got a new character and a skin for Mo. Everything else is going into storage. I would like for a future event to be a garden theme where we got new bushes, rocks, veggie crops, and new flowers. Santos Helper said, it was a great mini event and I was surprised that the currency totals were only 125 for each prize since I managed to complete it by the end of the weekend without Mrs. Frank. I really liked getting Tab and the Serenity Ranch as prizes since I thought they would have been a premium character building combo before they got released. I like all the prizes in the event, and there wasn't any terrible ones since the Fat Camp vending machine, Unlicensed Sergeant Chariot, and the Director of Fat Camp are all really good prizes. It was different to see that the new premium items didn't play a massive role in the event like the Leader, Blarg Alien, and Old Scratch did in the past few events. The only things I didn't like about the event was the lack of permanent tasks at the Screaming Monkey Medical Research Center. Mrs. Frank should have a solo 4-hour task there and another permanent task there, and Dr. Nick should have had one as well. And that Tab Spangler's task at the Chubby Chaser Chariot isn't visual. I concur. It is an improvement from the Sea Captain sleigh in the last event, though. I'm hoping between now and the next event, I can finish the quest lines I have from Black Friday and design the items I got from the last few events, since I haven't been designing as much lately, but I hope to make it the next show-off post since I have a fun design in mind for the Ranch and Chariot. I'm also hoping that with the return of new daily challenges being used in the last event as a sign from EA that they're slowly adding new or old features in the bigger events.
That's a good point.
Kenmar says, oh, nope, that's about missing tasks. Keith Rooney says, now for something completely different, maybe. Aknad says, a medical maladies event could have potential. And he said, mostly I just want Dr. Nick's old friend, Mr. McGregor.
Yeah. With an arm. That's a great character to bring. With an arm for a leg and a leg for an arm.
Dominic says, nice mini event to pass the time between Christmas and whatever is next. Tab is the character I never had on my wanted list, but now now that he has appeared as a welcome addition, I think is what now he's appeared as a welcome addition. Last year brought me several of my most wanted, like Buck Mitchell, Tabitha, Vix, Annika Van Houten, and the Leader. Hope this year we get some more of that. My list hippies like Seth and Munchie, a Burns family event adding his mother and son Larry Burns next would be great. Spurn Game says, I like the events of the game, but I miss some items of money that could help players to edit the city in a more pleasant way. A suggestion would be new trees, walls, flowers, shrubs, 2x2 cement floor. We have the 2x2, so we have cement. Train and metro line, etc. Keith also said this was the worst event ever, to which I was like, this? Really? This? So, Fred Frog says, same old, nice script, desperately needs something different since all mini events are so similar. BJ Sem says, it was okay. Will forget about it by the summer, but I enjoyed it enough. It went about the right speed for me. I did not spend money for that character, but got everything else. And finally, Time to Reflect blog says, initially disappointed as I was really hoping for Golden Goose Realty. I just missed it last year, having been away from the game for a few years. But some good donut purchases and decent storylines, hoping for Golden Goose Realty next. So yeah, that's what the readers had to say. So overall, I think everybody's kind of in the same place we are. Mini event standards, this was pretty good, except for Keith, who thinks this was the worst event ever. But it was good for a mini event. Nothing overwhelming, but that's the world. That's the reality we live in. I really like that comment about cut and paste, though, because that's essentially what we're doing. I mean, it's cut and paste every event, so it's kind of how it works. All right. Anything else you want to add, Saf?
No, nothing much for this event. I mean, this event's going to wrap up soon, so hopefully we'll see a new event shortly thereafter. Yeah,
we're coming up on February. So I think last year we had Black History Month. The year before we had Valentine's Day. 1 year we had nothing. So we'll have to see. It could be completely random. Who knows what we're going to get, but I look forward to it. So that's it from us this week. So thanks, my friends. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And hopefully we're back next week with a new event to talk about, as long as EA sticks to their schedule. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.